Hey everybody, we are here with a review of Next Gen NYC Season 1, Episode 2. I think Episode 3 airs tonight, so I should have the review for Episode 3 up tomorrow. But yeah, let's get into this. We left off with Riley not wanting to hug Georgia because she's nasty and doesn't wash her hands. I don't blame her. I don't touch the unwashed. Correction, the episodes air on Wednesday, so I'll have that review up either Wednesday night or Thursday morning. But yeah, bitch, I'm gonna have the next one up, is my point. So Ariana and Riley are talking about their transitions from Atlanta to New York. Obviously, New York is a lot more fast-paced, hectic, and chaotic. But I think that Riley said something interesting. She said that in New York, it's hard to make friends for her because people are just trying to use you to get ahead, whereas in Atlanta, it's more genuine. And I really think it's like a tourist perspective because there's so many people who would say the same about Atlanta. How everybody's just trying to come up and use you and clout chase and do this and do that. So, I guess like when you go to a new city, that's just what comes with it. Also, you're Candy Burris's daughter. Like people know that you come from good stock. They know you have money. So I'm sure that's like an extra layer to it also. So Charlie and Georgia and some guy named Shy are like drinking wine. They're talking about the whole Riley situation, how Riley didn't want to touch Georgia's unwashed hands and possibly unwashed body. Um, Charlie says that Riley's the type to like really try to fill you out before she gets to know you because Georgia said that Riley was hard to read. Riley is not hard to read. She was disgusted with you. She doesn't want to be around you because you're filthy. What's hard to get about that? Anyway, Charlie's talking about how Riley threatened to punch him one time. Riley says that that's not what happened. They just got into an argument outside of a bar one time because he was trying to get in with 10 other guys, and 10 men are not going into a bar for free. Now, I still don't get the context as to how the punch threat comes in, but I'm sure we'll get more into that. So Georgia says that she also got funny energy from Gia as well. Shy doesn't know who Gia is, and they introduce him. They describe Gia by showing the waking up in the morning, going through many things. Hold on, what's the word? I don't know the lyrics, but y'all know the scene from Real Housewives of New Jersey. But like watching them react to that is super meta, very funny, and I look forward to seeing Gia on this show because she's a firecracker just like her mother. So Brooks is sitting down at a restaurant with his mom, Meredith, from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and he's just catching her up on the whole Charlie, and I think the sister's name is Chloe, that situation. Brooks and Charlie, they made amends. Charlie apologized, and Meredith just, told Brooks to make sure that, he stands up for his sister and demands respect for her, which is understandable. And then Gia and Teresa walk in. So this should be an interesting interaction. So apparently, Brooks and Gia have been friends for 3 years. Gia pretty much gave him the ropes on how to navigate being a housewives kid, how to deal with like negative comments and such. You just ignore them. And Gia is right. You don't block the people because then like it fucks with your followers and your engagement. Also, when you block somebody, that's just too much of an acknowledgement. And a lot of people feel like they've accomplished something when you block them. So you just got to ignore them or mute them so like they don't know that, you can't see it. But never let negative comments stop you from doing something you want to do. Um, Also, there was a funny moment when Teresa recognized one of the camera guys because he works on the Real Housewives of New Jersey also. So yeah, I just like the self-awareness of this show. I like how they break the fourth wall. It just feels a lot more natural. So Brooks opens up a little bit about what it was like having fans of Salt Lake City Housewives speculate about his sexuality. Growing up and getting to know yourself, becoming comfortable with yourself, that can be a lot. And when you got a whole bunch of strangers on the internet saying negative things about you, that just makes things worse. So that was a nice vulnerable moment for Brooks. We also go back to the non-hand washing issue. Gia and Teresa are disgusted. They want nothing to do with Georgia. It's not good to be unwashed, Georgia. Like my name for you is the unwashed. This next scene opens up at Charlie's apartment. We see a bunch of dirty dishes in the sink. We see a Ziploc bag full of weed. This man thinks he's me. I'll show y'all my Ziploc bags, but I don't want to get flagged. We also have a friend Dylan walking around. He's like really toned up, like not super buff. Like he's skinny but muscular. I wonder what kind of relationship this is because I feel like Charlie is not all the way straight. Charlie doesn't clean up after himself because he just gets the maid to do it. That's how he was raised, rich kid shit. Dylan doesn't come from that, so he's used to cleaning up after himself. Dylan starts talking about his athletic background. He was like into wrestling and all this stuff his whole life. He even wrestled in college but got injured. He then says that he considers himself a digital entrepreneur and that he makes his money on the internet. And I already knew where this was going. He mentioned YouTube, Snapchat, and Twitch. And then we get to OnlyFans. Like when somebody says they make their money on the internet and they have a nice body, 9 times out of 10, there's an OnlyFans involved. And I know that's, presumptive, maybe a little bit of profiling, but it's the fucking truth. Okay, all these athletic influencers, they're doing some adult shit on the side. You just gotta look for it. They got a secret Twitter account. They'll usually hide the OnlyFans link in their story posts. I have an eye for it. I know how to find that OnlyFans. Trust me. We get a picnic scene in the park with Ava and Amira. They're just talking about their boyfriends. Amira's taking her boyfriend back home to Dallas to meet her parents. Ava's talking about how she introduced Dame Dash, her dad, to her boyfriend, and he came on pretty strong, and I'm not surprised because it's Dame Dash. Um, what else? She Ava met her boyfriend through Charlie, so that's something. I love how like we don't address, never mind. Charlie tells his rich daddy that his roommate does OnlyFans. The dad says Charlie should consider working out with the roommate, not the OnlyFans stuff, but get in shape. Why not? Meanwhile, Ariana and her boyfriend Hudson are at the fabric store pretending to shop around for her clothing line. And she mentions, she brings up the fact that her and Riley are both from Atlanta. They're both children of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and they both moved to New York at the same time. They haven't spoken in like over 10 years. Maybe y'all should break the ice. Let's go get a coffee or something. So let's see how that plays out. We just did a scene with Dame Dash and Ava, I guess having lunch, catching up. Dame Dash wants Ava to run one of his companies. Ava wants to model. Ava has an IUD and it's giving her acne and she doesn't have health insurance and she wants to take the IUD out in a nutshell. So Riley is about to meet up with Ariana and she calls her mother, Candy, to let her know. And Candy's like, well, y'all two were best friends when y'all were kids. I'm sure y'all can move on and just make amends. And then Candy mentions how her and Kim don't talk anymore. So Riley asks Candy why she doesn't talk to Kim anymore. And Candy's like, oh, it's not your business. Candy, it was on TV. It was broadcast to millions and millions of people. We all know why. I guess you didn't let Riley watch the show. Like, if she really wants to know what happened, she can find out. So the meeting looks like it went well. They caught up a little bit. They both agreed to let their parents' business be their parents' business. Halfway through the conversation, Candy texts Riley a picture of Riley and Ariana when they were kids. That was a cute little moment. And they decide to, just link up the next night with Gia and Brooks. I think that'll be like a fun little link up. So I'm excited to see how that goes. So we saw a date with Amira and her boyfriend. It wasn't really much to comment on. Um, Charlie tried to invite Georgia out to the outing with Riley in Brooklyn. I think Georgia is skipping probably because she had to take a shower first, and we know she doesn't believe in that. So you can be dirty at the you can be dirty at home by yourself. So they're at the bar, and Ariana is on her way to the outing. Charlie is making He brought up he brought up Kim's foreclosure, basically. You know, Charlie is rich, rich, rich. He's not housewives rich. And then we get a confessional with Riley and Brooks and find out that Charlie kind of made some snide remarks about the housewives' kids. He doesn't see it for them. You know, he got real investment banker money. They got reality TV money. Except for Riley, of course, you know, Candy, she got music money, but still, it's levels to this rich shit. They do not see it for each other. So Ariana and Hudson arrive, and Charlie is really just being a dick. Like, you just met this girl. You don't know her from nowhere. Yes, she has like, not even she, her mom has like a reputation from Housewives, but I don't think it's fair to judge Ariana based on that. And in Ariana's confessional, she says that she's been dealing with this her whole life. Even in middle school, people weren't allowed to be friends with her because of her mom. So like that's fucked up. That's not nice. Yeah, Charlie is definitely not winning the popularity contest this episode. He's just being an asshole. Him and Georgia go. Oh yeah, Georgia's here. Should have mentioned that. She washed her hands. Riley gave her a hug. Georgia and Charlie go outside to talk about how like the whole world knows that Georgia doesn't wash her hands, including Ariana. They don't think it's like that big of a deal. The thing is, Georgia, you just met these people and you told them that you do not wash. You're dirty. So, yeah, people are going to talk. I get it. It's normal for you to be filthy and unwashed, but that's not normal for everybody else. So, I don't like them. Riley asked Georgia if she sits on like the toilets at public restrooms, and she said yes. She doesn't like put a layer of toilet paper or use the little lining they have in there. She just puts her bare ass on the toilet seat. Are we surprised? Like, Georgia, you knew you were on a TV show. You should have thought about this. You got to have some type of self-awareness. Like, it makes for great TV because I have somebody to talk about. But like for you and like your personal reputation, you don't want to be known as the dirty girl from the Upper West Side, and that's what you're known as. Uh-uh. They walk from the bar to a club. They're having a good time. They're doing limbo and stuff. Charlie is still joking about sleeping with Brooks's sister. Like, bro, y'all have discussed this more than once. You apologize. Why do you keep doing it? Just a rich douche. So the episode ends with like the big blow up, if you will. They're outside the bar. Ariana and her boyfriend are confronting Charlie about just his behavior. Charlie's like, "Oh yeah, you guys are like battle tested because they grew up on reality TV." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll just fake beef with you for a storyline." And they're like, "No, it's not a fake beef. You're being rude and people are confronting you about it." And he's just not hearing it. He tells Ariana's boyfriend that they can go around the corner and fight, basically just doing the most. But Charlie and Georgia leave and the episode ends there. After 2 episodes of Next Gen NYC, I'm locked in. I'm enjoying this. And I'm also going to like make my reviews in a more timely manner. Like it won't be 5, 6, 7 days after the episode airs. But I'm in. Y'all got me. So thanks. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok and everywhere else if you're not already doing that. And all the other YouTube stuff. Just do the YouTube stuff. Do it all.